Hello, I'm Nate Vanderclock.
Wait, what?
That's not our intro.
It's welcome to the Popish plot.
Oh, okay. I see. We were talking about doing something Johny Cash, and I
Oh.
figured I should do my Johny Cash impersonation.
Oh.
So, all right. On that note, welcome to the Popish plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we are continuing our musical Final Four things.
The good theology.
The good theology of When the Man Comes Around.
Because Nate is absolutely right. Look, he's the man in black talking about the man in black. At the end of his life, Johny Cash always had a lot of wisdom, but at the end of his life, oh man, some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, the man comes around. There's a man going around taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. One of the most uncomfortable things for the modern world is the fact that there will be a judgment. You can talk to people about death, and for the most part they acknowledge, okay, a few people think that nanotechnology or cryogenics will advance to the point where humans won't die. Most people acknowledge people die. You could even get a lot of buy-in on heaven and hell, though you'll get a lot of pushback because most people think that hell is essentially empty.
Well, and there are a lot of people who think that heaven is just supposed to be some great big party, and why wouldn't everybody get an invitation? Clearly, there's something wrong with not inviting everybody.
Listen, we frequently point out that, we want to hang out at the lake of beer in heaven, and that, we aren't Calvinist, therefore everyone has the chance to be saved.
Yes,
but the between now and then is the uncomfortable part, judgment. There is a curious thing in our society where people think that nobody has the right to judge me. Most people will grant, only God can judge me. Now, normally this is stated as if it provides license, when really, that should scare the devil out of you, because Jesus is the just judge.
He can, and he will judge you. And unfortunately, at least by this world's standards, justice is not always the same as is not always equal with what the world considers fairness.
We could do a whole series on the evil of fairness, which is normally envy operative in the world. Mm-hmm. The Lord is just, which means he will give each of us what is right, and that should scare every one of us, because the only thing that we all deserve is hell.
Yes, but we are talking about the song by Johny Cash.
And it's great.
About judgment. And it has all these themes from the book of Revelation, but it's not like all the crazy rapture people. Ding! and that it is pretty sound theology, given that it's like a 3-minute song, and B, about the part they never mention.
And I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse. And then at the end of the song, and I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
Again, this one's Death, the Death Unicorn, and a rainbow follows him.
Yes, but as
we're not granting
earlier,
the accuracy of the theology of your T-shirt.
Okay,
it's cute. No one's disputing that. Not necessarily accurate. The hairs on your arm will stand up at the terror in each sip and in each sup. Will you partake of that last offered cup? The way that the Lord is described at the beginning of Revelation is terrifying, because we will see him in all of his heavenly glory.
Which apparently comes down to being really freaky shiny.
Really shiny. Super shiny.
And terrifying. I mean, if you need
candles needed shiny.
If you need
there won't be a sun.
If you need to if you need some help understanding just how terrifying the notion of being in the presence of God is, go read the book of Exodus. when they just after they crossed the Red Sea, they're wandering around in the desert. God is not entirely present with them. They're not seeing the beatific vision, but they've got the presence of God there in their camp in the form of the cloud and
the fire.
And the fire. And they are begging Moses to tell God to change up the situation, because if they have to listen to him talk, they will die of fear.
And that's when Moses becomes the mediator of the covenant. Because God, in his mercy, comes to us in ways that are less fear-inducing.
Yeah.
And it's not that... It's,
a little less mind-scrambling.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's not that God is... It's not that he bears us any ill. He is love. But we so tend to put God in the little boxes, try to make him in some way that our tiny brains can comprehend without having our brains completely scrambled. But then, at the judgment, we will see him as he truly is, in all of his unfathomable righteousness, in all of his pure power. All of our categories will fall away, and all we'll be left with is,
I mean, every time in the Bible, an angel who simply hangs out in heaven with God shows up, they're like, don't be afraid.
I know you guys are going to lose your stuff. Don't lose your stuff.
The first thing they say when they show up is, chill.
Well, see, this is what I
the
love.
new Surfer Dude translation.
That's in the message. This is what I love about Christmas. You're just a shepherd. You're out there with your flocks. All of a sudden, boom, angel. Except this time, it doesn't say, don't be afraid. It just starts singing.
And then a legion of them
And
show
then
up.
the whole sky
just filled with angels, and they're all singing.
Although maybe they thought they were a little less threatening singing.
Eventually, they realize, oh wait, this is good news. But again, I believe in angels. The Lord, in his mercy, has never granted me a full-blown apparition, because
Mike might not be able to continue on the show should the Lord ever bestow him with visions of even portions of his glory.
if nothing else, my hair would be all white.
And then we'd have to put essentially a lampshade on you, if I remember the story of Moses.
I'd have to be veiled. Whoa, dude!
You're so shiny.
So whenever you see a statue of Moses and it looks like he has horns, that's just an artistic depiction of the fact that after he saw God, his face was so radiant that he had to wear a veil. You never see him represented that way.
Well, it would be just weird, just like a face that's just covered blank.
Yeah, a dude in a burqa. Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways,
race and light makes more sense.
Back to the man in black.
There will be a judgment. This is good news, because if we followed the Lord, he is merciful. But every single one of us, it's not an option. Every one of us will be judged. Will you have accepted his offer of mercy? Or will you have thought, I don't need God, I can save myself? Because I assure you,
You can't even get close.
the idea is laughable.
The notion that you could save yourself, it would be like the notion of you inside of a pit that's unfathomably deep, with 6 feet worth of rope and slippery sides all around.
Will you partake of that last offered cup? Or disappear into the potter's ground when the man comes around?
So go down below and share with us some songs that you would like us to touch upon. They won't be necessarily a part of the final four this time, because I believe we've already made our final four selections. But nonetheless, we love talking about good and or bad theology and music. So feel free to hit us up with something down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the subscribe button, the bell next to it to get notifications when we have a new episode coming out. Hit the like button and go back and watch the pizza episode and leave a like on that one, because everybody wants to see Mike doing live cheese poetry. Everyone does. The Pope wants to see it.
I don't think you can say that.
You can't prove he doesn't.
You can't prove that he doesn't. If he comes out and tells me he doesn't want to see it, I will retract my statement.
I mean, it is a win-win because if tomorrow the Pope tweets, I don't want to see cheese poetry, we'll be like, he watched the show!
Well, except then we'd get a whole bunch of like really, really rad-trad fans who are like, well, the Pope's against it, it must be good. We don't want those people.
True. Anyway.
I want those people.
We want their views.
Well, we
want to convert them.
Look, they need an opportunity to come to the truth
before they're judged.
Sure.
So, before this gets any more ridiculous, until next time,
remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength.